Hello everyone, welcome back to another update. We are down to just 5 final maps that do not have an end, and I have a slight update on a matter of administrative things that I'll just recap as well. So first things first, Guardia Nocturna and Zenovizhimir are still locked in an absolute deadlock. So this is what I mean. We have not had a single province captured in the last 2.5 days from what I can see. And the current points, though, are 1,020 to 980 in favor of Zenovizhimir. So if you can go back, you can see just incredibly close to. So after I had filmed the video, just a 1 point gap. This is just so incredibly close. It's truly an incredible game, neck and neck. No team has made a mistake, and as a result of no team making a mistake, we are locked in this absolute dead match. When I scroll down through the newspaper, you'll see kills are still very low across the board. No one has taken a lot of losses, and this is just shaping up to be a spy match back and forth. This one, I think, could go the distance. It's day 14, and map ends at the end of day 18, so the day 19 day change. So you've got 5 day changes in order to make any sort of splash or to close the gap by 41 points is really where it's at. There's 0 AI left. This is going to come down to pure economy, pure morale, and maybe one team making a mistake. These are the type of games which are so incredibly fun, but so incredibly exhausting to play, just because you don't want to be the person that is responsible for making that loss. Just jumping in here, you can see nearly all of the provinces everywhere are at a good morale. You've got a couple small isolated things where you've got some slight issues, but overall, for the most part, it seems to be a fairly close, even map. So I guess we'll see if there's going to be any heavy fighting in the last day or two. Personally, I hope to see it, but that's because I'm a little bit selfishly driven by wanting to push content on here, and because I'm a very offensive-minded player, and I do like seeing big fights go down. Our next map as well is still ongoing. This is Caballeros da Orden de Cristo versus Livy Victus 2. Last time we took a look, Caballeros was up, but that gap was closing. Let's take a quick look here and see where we're at. Sorry, I just pulled up the wrong thing there. Let's see. Alliance won 928 over 795. So that actually looks like Livy is pulling out ahead. If I'm not mistaken, Livy is the green team here as Alliance won. We'll double check that later in a bit. But yes, it looks like Livy is pulling ahead on points. So let's just double check that quickly. Team 1, there you go, Alliance 1. Livy's just slowly pulling ahead on the points, and this is turning into an interesting map. Same thing as the other one. We are much farther along in the map than people assume. Day 11, there's still plenty of time for fighting, and you still have AI left floating around. You still have Denmark where you can get points. You have Poland. You have Serbia, and you have Greece, as well as Romania and Bulgaria, and Portugal here on the end, but not in Africa. So, which is interesting that Livy has taken half of Portugal, but let the other half open. That's usually if you have the same alliance in both Spain and Morocco. Both Portugals are taken out. However, this seems to have not been done, and that is something interesting to keep an eye out on. Looking over here, you've got a couple interesting things. Sweden has this province here, and Russia is down here. Let's just double check back in, just to double check. So let's see. So it looks like Russia did manage to push through Austria and take some of the land there, and vice versa. Sweden retaliated by going, is that going through Poland actually? Yep, that is the Poland hit, because right here, Kovna is normally a part of Poland when you start off. So they went through Poland and they hit Vilna. Let's see how long ago that was. So so day change was actually just a couple of minutes ago, so that's why we've got that new change there. Let's see. So anything we've shown today is just spies for today, so we'll need to go into previous days here. So that's Sweden and Russia. So that was a good hard-fought fight there. And Russia and Germany, that was over in Vilna. So depending on how many troops Sweden sends south, you might have a gap that's open there. The biggest issue once you're through here, though, is that if you aren't able to take advantage of Kyiv or Smolensk, you're kind of trapped there. It's really hard to recapture because you can only go in through Riga, but Riga is also one of your shortest gaps in for Germany to push, which makes it a little bit interesting but more difficult to do. So Vilna could easily be defended from both sides there. But we'll see how that plays out. Let's take a look. What else happened over here? And so that Russia push into Ottoman also happened today. So I wonder where Ottoman went in order for that to be open, because there were not a lot of troops that went, which makes it very interesting. So anytime you have a capture without a lot of troops, you wonder where those troops went. Here you see the Sweden hitting Poland. So those Ottoman troops went somewhere, and we don't know where yet. Mostly because we don't have eyes on the map. That is something to keep an eye out for, and it could be something which causes changes over the next couple days. Good luck with the last week as we approach the end. We head on over now to Schwarzy Schar versus Conquistadores Final del Mundo. Last we checked in, Schwarzy Schar was up 1,172 to 721. And it looked like there were a couple gaps that were being made, something that they might have taken advantage of. But it doesn't look like they managed to push through anywhere. And like those gaps ended up just staying still there. The way the points are at now, 1,163 to 768. On day 14, I'm seeing this increasingly difficult for Conquistadores Final del Mundo to make any moves to come back. There's still a lot of troops, there's still a lot of fighting that can be done, but time's running out, and time is rapidly becoming a factor in this map. Great Britain has made an attack. Morocco got stopped on an invasion. Let's see. Well, I've got to go back into previous days here, but there's not a huge amount of fighting here. We don't have these big losses. Morocco and Italy. So it seems like Morocco has either been the let's see. Italy recaptured Palermo. Spain took a lot of heavy losses. So Spain losing a lot of their troops is a big thing to keep an eye out for, and Team 2. So that is something that's going to be harder when you've lost so many troops from one country. UK also had lost a lot of troops, so that's something else that's starting to add up. But it's not the end. Italy lost 101. Austria lost, and France both lost a lot. So France is significantly decreased. Italy and Spain are pretty close on being drained of troops. It's making it hard at this point. I think you should start having that conversation about do you have a viable option to get the win? And if you don't have the viable option to win, are you simply holding out just to force them to fight, or do you think you actually have a shot at winning? I think that conversation is one which this map is in the category of where you should start having it just due purely to troop losses and current points and time left on the map. Look forward to keeping an eye on this, though. See if Schwarzy Schar can make a final push and just put an end to it earlier or not. We're back for the official ending of Boot Brigade versus Bohemia. We had looked at this earlier, and it had appeared that Bohemia had surrendered. and that at this point all that was happening was just cleaning up empty troops and empty provinces, while they were just leaving one province in order to get the points for that final win. That's why you're seeing pushes through all of these areas, with the exception of Ottoman, who didn't increase more, but pretty much they're just taking empty provinces just to max out on the points and hit 1500 just to end the game earlier. I don't think that we'll see anything on here really, especially if they had all gone AI. So looks like still big heavy troop losses I see, which is strange and interesting to see, but just based on how quickly it went after France wrote congratulations, that is where I would believe that that's where it was. Let's see. There you go. We need to continue to get to 1500 points. So turns out that they just finished off and tested some things in order just to finish off on the map. That they gave resources just to finish the trades off, or just to test. It looks like flowering and to practice those. So that's where that seems to have been out. We'll see if that's probably where a majority of troop losses came from. We'll see where that goes in, and congratulations to Boot Brigade, and we'll see both of you guys on the next map. We check back into our final map, which is OS Akatsukas versus Battaglione Wolf. Battaglione Wolf had collapsed France and was just closing in on the maps. However, they have not been able to push forward. France, in fact, still has 3 provinces, and Spain pushed back and managed to have stabilized the situation a little bit. So where we're at right now, and I'll just poke up into here, is that Battaglione Wolf is currently leading 1,003 to 867. However, there's an entire country that's collapsed and gone. Things are not looking good for OS Akatsukas, but we'll see how this finishes off. There's still plenty of time heading into the last week, and Sweden has made good advances. Spain has pushed back well, and Italy is mostly intact. These are things which bode well, and we'll see exactly where that goes. So Italy has not lost that many troops other than their attack on Austria. Morocco lost a bunch of troops to Austria. Sweden has lost an insane number of troops, but so has Russia. So we'll see if that has just sort of petered out, or if they're able to keep pushing. Personally, when I look at that, the way that I see it is Italy is able to hold defensively, but is not able to advance more, and Sweden is essentially stuck here. It's too small of a gap to break through, and especially once you get past Viborg, unless you're able to break through the capital. And even if you do get the capital, everything else is just such a long walk that defensively they're able to block it off, which just makes that so much more harder to move good attacks. We also see artillery fire up there, so I'm not sure which side it's on. Based on where the firing's coming from, I would suspect that Battaglione Wolf is the one that's firing mostly and causing most of the damage there. We don't see much else anywhere else, and there's also still AI that can be captured out, and looks like some firing near Venice, but not too much. So I wonder if Russia will try to push back into Sweden, if they're able to, and I'm really interested to see what the defenses are on those lines there, or along Lyon, Limoges, because if those aren't able to hold up, you could have a repeat scenario where Spain gets clapped just like France did. So that'll be something to keep an eye out on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. We do understand that there are still some maps that have left to be played out. 4 of those 5. However, short of anything miraculous happening, I don't see there being large changes. I will personally track the maps, and if there's anything new or game breaking, I'll give you guys an update. If not, the next update will be at the end of the last map. I mentioned that I had an update on something of a more administrative thing. What we noticed is that Tequila put inside the 18 announcements that they hadn't heard any news from Promedio, who did not play their first map against Spartans 300, and so they had marked it as a 1500-0 score. I remember that had speculated as to what that could be. Promedio has stepped out of the tournament, and they have replaced them with Nelva Academy. Nelva Academy is accepting Promedio's 0 points on the first map, and the other two teams are okay with playing Nelva Academy as well through to the end. This is something which is very good because it allows the tournament to proceed, and we're also very proud and happy, of course, that Nelva Academy has stepped in to fill those shoes. So thank you very much, and of course we keep our fingers crossed and we hope that nothing bad impacted the Promedio team, especially with the big flood in Valencia, which could have impacted teams or players there. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe.